we're going to be talking about tonight, the title of the message is The Most Valuable Thing. That is the title of the message, The Most Valuable Thing. Okay, so I have a question. Hypothetically, right? Please understand this is a hypothetical question. If your house were to burn down tonight, hypothetical, you wake up in the middle of the night, you smell smoke, and you're like, it's go time, I gotta go. Anybody on the second floor? Good luck. Okay, so. Hannah, where you at? Where's Hannah? Hannah, hi. Good luck, girl. Okay, you may just want to jump out a window, into a bush, not head first. You'll hurt yourself if you go head first. Okay, if you wake up and your house is on fire, let me ask you this. What is the first thing that your mind's going to? Oh, snap, I gotta grab. Lawnmowers, dogs, what else? Huh? Baby, okay. Captain. You better grab that Captain Rex helmet. Yes, ma'am. Your dog. Wait, say that one more time, Bella. Your poster's right on. Okay, what are you grabbing? Dang Zane, he said he wasn't gonna wake you up. What are you grabbing? Your what? Your babies? Wow, okay. No one said parents? No one's grabbing their parents? Only like a handful of y'all said like people in your family. The rest of y'all are just like, sucks to be you, big dog. You're burning tonight, you know? Anyways, that probably wasn't good. So, some of y'all, I'm gonna have to call your parents this week. Hey, we did a hypothetical at youth and yeah, they're not warning you. So, get your smoke detectors checked, please. You have a valid point. So tonight we're gonna be camping out. Y'all cool with that? We're gonna camp out in a verse. Cool? Cool beans? All right, Luke chapter 15. That's where we're gonna be. Luke chapter 15. We're gonna be in verses 11 through 31. Okay? Luke chapter 15, verses 11 through 31. If you don't have a Bible, my friend Briley has 2 extra Bibles. He wants a Bible. Don't throw the Lord's word. I saw it in your eyes. I'm kidding, I don't care if you throw them. Anyways, we're gonna be in Luke chapter 15. Luke chapter 15. So, tonight what we're gonna be talking about, pay attention. I just asked y'all, if your house is burning down, what was the first thing that's gonna go through your mind to grab, right? That will show, pay attention. That is an indicator of what you value. So tonight what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at what God values most. We're gonna be reading here in Luke chapter 15 about what God values most. And I promise you, it's really not that complicated. It's actually pretty simple. But I wanna talk about it tonight. Because if we are called, it's an A word, that's not 3 letters, what is it? If we're called to be ambassadors, that means we're representing God. So this means what he values, we should probably value too, right? Cool beans. Luke chapter 15. I'm gonna give y'all some context. Everybody like context, yeah? Right on. So Luke chapter 15, if you're there in your Bibles or you're there in the Bible app on your phone, you're gonna see that the beginning of Luke chapter 15, there's 2 parables before we read about the parable we're gonna read about tonight, which is the parable of the lost son. The first parable is the parable of the lost sheep. Anybody know what the parable of the lost sheep is? Anybody read that before? Kind of, okay, so right on, right, kind of. The parable of the lost sheep, what that's talking about is how the shepherd leaves the 99 for the one sheep that runs away, right? And then the second parable is the parable of the lost coin, and it talks about this lady who lost a coin. She finds it, and when she finds the coin, she's just happy that she has the coin back. Okay, so context. And understand here, in chapter 15, verse 1, it says, now the tax collectors and sinners were all gathering around to hear Jesus, but the Pharisees and the teachers of the law muttered, this man welcomes sinners to eat with him. So Jesus is sitting with people that are tax collectors. No one liked tax collectors back in the day. Boo, yeah, they were stinky people. Nobody liked the tax collectors, unfortunately. They were the people that would come and take taxes from you. They take your money. And oftentimes tax collectors were seen as like kind of cheats, because they could go around, there was no computers, right? Huh? I know, it's crazy, right? So they're just walking around with a ledger, right? And they can just go, you know, that person, They looked at me funny today. Yeah, and then on the paper it says, 4 silver, and they're like, you owe me 20 silver. There's no way for you to know. You're not gonna go be like, I'm gonna go look at the computer, and the computer's gonna tell me how many taxes I owe. No. The tax collectors were in charge of all those kinds of records. So they were seen as cheap people. They were people that cheated people out of things, and then sinners. Guess what? We would have all been lumped into that right there, right? So Jesus is sitting down with what the Pharisees are saying, the people that they just don't touch, like the untouchable people. And Jesus has 3 parables, and they all kind of follow this same through line. Parable of the lost sheep, the parable of the lost coin, and what we're about to read is about the prodigal of the lost son. And what Jesus knows is he's talking to the tax collectors and sinners, but he also knows that the Pharisees are listening to him. And so Jesus, in the G way that he does things, is talking to both of them simultaneously. So we're going to get into it. Y'all ready? Chapter 15, verse 11, it says, Jesus continued. There was a man who had 2 sons. The younger one said to his father, Father, I read this like a British person in my head, right? Father, like Harry Potter, right? Father, give me my share of the estate, right? We're videoing right now. Anyways, we're gonna stop. So yeah, that's gonna be funny. So he divided his property between them. Okay, so his son comes to him and goes, Father, and is like, I want my share of the estate. Anybody know what his son's essentially telling him? I want you dead, big dog. Because here's what happens. His share of the estate is something that he would get after his father dies. So he's like, well, I know you're still alive, but like, I would much prefer to have the money and possessions over a relationship with you. Matter of fact, I just kind of wish you were dead. Okay? That's a bit, see, that's kind of what I'm saying too. It's a bit much, right? So that's essentially what he's telling his dad, okay? Verse 13. We have 20 verses to get through, and I'm a slow reader, so I need y'all to stay focused with me, okay? Not long after the younger son got together all he had and set off for a distant country, and there squandered his wealth in wild living. The dude was at the club getting bottle service, okay? I'm gonna just interpolate. After he had spent everything, there was a severe famine in that whole country, and he began to be in need. So he went and hired himself out to a citizen of that country who sent him to the field to feed pigs. He longed to fill his stomach with the pods that the pigs were eating, but no one gave him anything. Okay. Has anybody ever been around pigs? Okay, they're gross, aren't they? You farm them. They're pretty nasty, aren't they? They kind of eat just anything. Yeah, okay. They're gross. My mom had a pig that was super mean. It used to chase my mom's miniature donkey around and squeal at it and bite its ankles. Thing was just mean. And then finally my mom got rid of it. My dad sent me a video. I didn't realize how loud it was gonna be. It was the pig squealing as they were taking it into the trailer. And you would have thought that they shot the pig in the back leg and it was just bleeding out because that thing was squealing so loud and it was so mean. Oh, my mom would go hose it down and then 5 minutes later, it would be like, you're supposed to be pink. Why are you brown? You know what I mean? It's like, you just changing colors on us, man. They're gross. Anybody ever heard of, I may be aging myself here. There's a guy named Mike Rowe and he had a series, onto the Discovery Channel called Dirty Jobs. Anybody remember that? Okay, good, I'm good in good company. So there's a guy named Mike Rowe, and he used to go and do the dirtiest jobs around the country. And one of the jobs that he did was this company that would go to Las Vegas, into the city of Las Vegas, and take all of the scraps from the buffets, and they would bring him back and feed the pigs at his farm all this food. And I remember in this show, it was disgusting because they're all the scraps, right? So they're just scooping them into plastic bins. So you have crab legs next to fondue next to, that actually kind of sounded good, next to brownies and oatmeal. And actually. It was disgusting. And it was like these massive bags full of just old food that wasn't eaten, and they had to take it off of the buffets and they feed them to the pigs. And it wasn't like, well, we're gonna separate out the, we're gonna separate the crab legs from the beef. And it was like they were throwing this nasty stuff into troughs, and these pigs were like eating it up, okay? Just nasty. So think of this, in the lunchroom for all my public school kids, you're in the lunchroom, people are throwing away their extra food and stuff. Imagine if that was all taken and then put in a trough. That's the equivalent. Like, the people that don't drink their milk and they go by the trash can and they just dump it in? Yeah, okay? This is the kind of nastiness, all right? So this is how nasty pigs are. Pigs would eat that stuff, and he was so hungry that he longed to eat that. Imagine being so hungry that you looked at the trash can at school and were like, bro, there's the crust to someone's peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and I'm fiending for it. Oh boy, howdy, that peanut butter and jelly sandwich looks great covered in milk, right? That's what he's longing for, okay? I'm giving you this context because I want y'all to really see what's going on here, because context is king. Verse 17, when he came to his senses, he said, how many of my father's hired servants have food to spare? And here I am starving to death. I will set out and go back to my father and say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants. So he got up and went to his father. I want you to see this here. The son humbled himself and went back to the father, okay? Verse 20. So he got up and went to his father. But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion for him. He ran to his son, threw his arms around him, and kissed him. The son said to him, first off, let's just be really honest, that's gross, right? The dude just walked miles and got done messing around with some pigs. That dude didn't smell good, right? Okay, and we're about to read the dude was barefoot, okay, all right? He was full of compassion. I probably would have done that if it was my daughter. You know what I mean? But still. The image in my head that I saw, guys. So he got up and went to his father, but while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and filled with compassion for him. He ran to his son, threw his arms around him and kissed him. The son said to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. But the father said to his servant, quick, bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Pause. Son comes home. His father didn't say, hey, well, I'm dead to you, big dog, leave. It's not what he said. What did he do? Best robe, ring, and sandal. I want y'all to see something here. Gio, can you throw it up for me? The robe, the ring, and the sandal all represent something, okay? Jesus, when he's given parables, there's layers to this. The robe signified the father's approval of his son. The ring represented the father's basically handing over the authority of his name back to his son. Because what did he essentially say to his father? I wish you were dead. Estranging him from the family. So the father gave him a ring, essentially telling him, you now have the authority of my name and my family back. And then the sandals represented his adoption back to sonship. I want y'all to see this here. Father, you're dead to me. Runs away, squanders the money. It's not like the dude came back and is like, I got like a couple $1,000s left in the bank. No, he had nothing. He took all of his father's possessions, all the things that were, when it was supposed to be divided up, he got his portion of it and ran through it. And then when he came back to his father, he was given the approval of his father, he was given his father's authority, and he was given back his sonship to his father. Y'all seeing what's going on here? Keep in mind, this is Jesus sharing a parable. This is a story with a meaning. This story directly represents how the Father treats us when we come back to him. Keep in mind, Jesus in John chapter 1 talks about the Word became flesh, Jesus. Jesus came down to tell us everything about the Father that the Father wanted us to know about him. And one of the things, or one of the many things, is this parable of the lost son. The Father wanted us to know that when we come back to him, he's not saying, like when we come back to God, he's not gonna have a giant laundry list and go, you stink, you've been walking barefoot, and you smell like pigs. Clean yourself up. That's not what he's saying. He embraced him, he hugged him, kissed him on the cheek, and gave him his sonship back, gave him the authority back, and gave him his approval back. All in this moment. Now, I want to continue to keep reading. Okay? Y'all cool with that? Because there's a couple other things. Because who remembers, who are the people that are in this room right now as Jesus is speaking? Sinners, tax collectors, and who else? The Pharisees. Y'all hearing what I'm saying here? The Pharisees are also listening. But the father said to his servants, quick, bring the best robe, put it on him, put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Bring the fattened calf and kill it. Let's have a feast to celebrate. For this son of mine that was dead is alive again. He was lost and is found. So they begin to celebrate. Meanwhile, the older son was in the field. When he came near the house, he heard the music and dancing. He didn't get invited. R.I.P. So he called one of the servants and asked him what was going on. Your father has come, he replied, and your father has killed the fattened calf because he has him back safe and sound. Oh, sorry, your brother came. I said father. Oops, my bad. The older brother became angry and refused to go in. So his father went out and pleaded with him, but he answered his father, look, all these years I've been slaving for you and never disobeyed your orders, yet you never gave me a young goat so I could celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours, I want y'all to see what he's saying here. He didn't say brother. This son of yours, he doesn't view him as family. This son of yours, bro, that's pretty harsh. But when this son of yours who has squandered your property with prostitutes comes home and you kill the fattened calf for him. My son, the father said, you are always with me and everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate and be glad because this brother of yours was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. Jesus right here at the same time talking about the Father's grace is also chastising the Pharisees. Because you know what the Pharisees did? They were the keepers of the law. And they were like, let's go back. Verse 2. But the Pharisees and the teachers of the law muttered, this man welcomes sinners and eats with them. These Pharisees who are equally as sinful as everybody else is looking at these other people going, gross. And Jesus at the same time is chastising and correcting them while he's also talking about God's grace. So here's what I have to say. Y'all ready for it? We talked about the most valuable thing. What does God value the most on the face of this earth? You know what it is? It's us. His creation, his people. You realize we're the only creation, we're the only being, human beings, right? We're the only being on the face of the earth that's made in God's image, right? We're the only ones that bear his image. We're also, Xander, can I pick on you real quick? Cool. If I were to kill Xander, could I get another one? Could I just go, Xander, you're back? But would he ever have the same life experiences as him? No, he never would. Would he live during the same time period as Xander did? No, he wouldn't. When you clone somebody, they don't just come back at the same age. They don't carry the same memories. It's just the same DNA, right? We could never get an exact replica, one for one, of Xander ever again. We could never do that. And here's the beauty of it. I need y'all to hear me here. Every human being on the face of this earth is valuable. Matter of fact, they're so valuable that they are actually priceless. You are priceless. The people at your school that frustrate you, they're priceless. You can't get another one of them. And while at the same time Jesus died for you, he also died for the people at school that frustrate you. He died for your brother and sister that frustrate you. He died for the person that bullies you. That's the point that he's making here to the Pharisees. He's making the point to the sinners who don't understand the law and who are not Jews that, hey, when I die, you are now getting access to the Father. And at the same time, he's chastising the Pharisees for being what I would call holy rollers. Anybody ever heard that before? Holy rollers? People that are holier than thou, right? They're like, I read 4 chapters of my Bible every morning. Yeah, but your mouth still gossips like you ain't saved, right? Purring. I want you to hear me here. Shh, I want you to hear me here. I'm going to ask you a really tough question. This is going to be a really tough question. Because if we're called to be ambassadors of Jesus, and not only be ambassadors of Jesus, we're also supposed to value the things that he values, and he values all humans here on the face of this earth. How much do you have to hate someone to not tell them about Jesus? Pay attention. Pay attention. There are some of you in this room that I've known you for a long time, and I've seen amazing change in your life. I've seen the Lord quite literally pick you up, turn you around, set your feet on solid ground. Okay, sorry. It's a song that's stuck on my head, right? The Lord has done a major work in your life. So now here's the question. How much do you have to hate somebody to keep that a secret? Hey, Jesus saved me, but you're going to have to figure it out for yourself. Hey, Jesus saved me, but you've got to go figure that out yourself. You done? Thanks. How much do you have to hate your fellow man to not tell them about Jesus? But Lance, people are going to think I'm a weirdo. Great, the church needs more weirdos. The church needs more weirdos. Last time I checked, hear me. Last time I checked, the acceptance of the world doesn't get you into heaven. The acceptance of the world didn't free you from sin. The acceptance of the world did not die and shed their blood on a cross for you. Jesus did. So remind me again why that's so important to you. Remind me again why being cool in the eyes of your friends who aren't believers, remind me again why that's so important to you. Remind me again where it says that in Scripture, please, because it doesn't. Matter of fact, 3 weeks ago we read that the love of the world isn't good. If you love the world, the love of the Father does not live in you. Y'all, we need more weirdos. We need more weirdos that are okay with telling people about Jesus and being made fun of for it. We need more of that in the church. Can I give you something tough? Can I give y'all something tough? Y'all cool with something tough? I don't know. If you're too worried about what others think of you, Jesus isn't Lord of your life like you think he is. people's acceptance has become an idol in your life that has eclipsed your love of Jesus. So I say all that to say this. Number one, Jesus is always there with his arms wide open. You don't have to clean yourself up. He loves you. He loves you. He loves you. He just wants you to come to him. You don't have to clean yourself up. You don't have to worry about ridding yourself of sin before you come back to Jesus. It's not what this is about. If you could rid yourself of sin, Jesus wouldn't have had to have died for you. Y'all hearing me here? The second thing, if we're called to be ambassadors of Jesus, do you actually value people like he does? Or are people just annoyances? You can't love God and hate his people. It'd be like someone coming up to me going, I love you, Lance, but I can't stand your wife. If you can't stand my wife, you can't stand me. And if you keep standing in front of me, you're not gonna be standing. You feel me? That sounds really tough. I've never been in a fight before, so I don't even know what I would do, right? I'd be like, aha, cool, hit you with my words. Now back up, because I don't really have anything to back you up. I got nothing else to say, okay? Dance battle you. Anyway, sorry, I'm gonna stop. I can't show you my dance moves. Anyways, so I squirreling, thank you. I'm squirreling pretty hard. Do you value what God values as an ambassador of Christ? And if you do, put your money where your mouth is. Y'all hearing me here? Pay attention. Put your money where your mouth is. I had a conversation with somebody today. It was actually I'm gonna squirrel for a second. So y'all just pay attention. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine today, and he was telling me he just recently got a new job, and he's working for a mutual friend of ours. And talking to him, he was like, yeah, dude, the dude knows so much about the Bible. And I'm like, yeah, dude, like he does. He's super wise, knows everything about, knows a lot of stuff about the Bible. It's like, that's awesome. And then you know what he says next? He goes, yeah, well, he knows a lot about the Bible. The dude doesn't do anything about it. It's like, it's really cool because one moment we'll be talking about how great God is and talking about all the things in the Bible, and then he'll get on the phone with a work friend, and the next thing you know, it's like, are you a believer or not? What's happening here? If you really value people like you say you value people, you wouldn't have told him to shove that up that. You know what I mean? So stop. This is a conversation I had with a friend of mine. Do you think that mutual friend that me and that friend have, do you think he's a really good Christ ambassador? Okay, so why do you talk about the people the way you talk about people? Why do you treat people the way that you treat people? Why do you continue to say that you hate people, but yet say that you love Jesus? It's okay to be frustrated with people. People frustrate me all the time, but I'm not going to hate them. Frustration's an emotion, and it goes away, and you move forward, and you keep loving them. Y'all hearing me here?